Hi everyone, hope you're doing well. Welcome back into my channel. My name is Rebecca. If you have not met me before, I'm a 30-year-old mum here in Australia. I have disabilities, my child also has disabilities, and on this channel I talk through my disability journey. I do personal finance videos like this one, and I also talk about motherhood and my struggles and my triumphs and everything in between about that. If you like what you see and want to follow, hit subscribe, and let's get into today's video. So today's video I'm going to be going through my 2026. This is my first full budget for 2026. This is something that I've not done before, so these are going to be very vague, I think, terms and goals, and because I don't know what's going to happen. I could be on Centrelink for the entire year and not be able to have work, but touch wood, I will get a job. So this is just beginning of the year kind of thoughts and my goals. They may change throughout the year. I might do like a 6-month check-in, see how we're going with those goals, but for today's video, just focusing on kind of my trajectory and my goals and my ideas of what I want 2026 to be financially. So without further ado, let's jump and head over onto the computer and let's get into the budget. Okay, we're in. Welcome to my first 2026 rough budget. So this is the first time I've done like a yearly one, and obviously there'll be a monthly reset that I'll do, so I'll go into more detail of like what's happened the last month. But basically I'm still going to be on Centrelink. I am going to still look for work, so I don't know if I'll be able to get a job this year. So we're going to base off of in the sense that I'm still going to be earning Centrelink of 30k, and I say earning very loosely. Obviously entitled might be a better term, just because I know people get really up in arms when they're like, oh, it's not an income. It is for me. It's my only source of income that I can obtain at the moment, so it is an income. It's my only source of income. Anyway, I've already kind of set up the budget, which again I'll go through in slightly more detail, but I'm already expected to get a little bit more my next Centrelink pay, which is the 8th. So board will still be the same, food will still be the same, phone bill the same, Latrobe insurance. Now I used to be with Bupa, and I'd been with Bupa for like 7-8 years, a long time, and a company reached out to me who actually compare a lot of insurance companies and help you pick the best one. They actually called me out of the blue, and they were like, we can see that you're with Bupa, so they actually found a really, really good deal and better value what I'm getting out of it versus what I'm paying compared to Bupa. I was paying $208 per 3 quarterly, whereas now I'm paying $184 per quarterly. I actually get a lot more benefits out of that, so I'm okay with that. That's definitely the biggest change. And then term life is still the same. I do also have a chai here in my if you are a gamer, Life is Strange kind of mug that I got. I love it. Going into 2026, definitely medications are still going to be the same. Do think I need to put more away to take away, or at least budget that out a lot more, because I do have my months where I'm good and then my months where I'm not good. I definitely need to eat better, so that is just a personal goal, is to not eat as much takeaway, but also a financial goal. Groceries, that's all extra groceries because that's part of the food budget. Therapy is another big one. I know it's a big expense. It's per fortnightly. It's EMDR therapy specifically. If you've been a part of my channel since the beginning, you know that I just started EMDR nearly a year ago now. I really got into processing probably maybe April, May, so almost a year. It's been really, really beneficial, and my goal is to just continue that fortnightly. Whatever rebate I get back, I'm going to set aside into, you see here I've got an EMDR savings account. That's where all of that rebate's going. It's going to sit there until Medicare rebate, or not rebate, but my Medicare healthcare plans run out, because you only get 10 sessions per calendar year. So once those 10 sessions run out, I'll be able to start using the rebate from the savings account just for those sessions. So that's my plan with that. And yeah, like I said, $484 a month, it's expensive. It's definitely something that I'm investing in myself, and it's something that it's very important to me. That's something that I definitely am keeping into going into 2026. I definitely also want to budget more for gifts specifically this year. I'm not typically one to buy gifts and stuff because usually I can't afford it at the time. So this year I want to make an effort to treat my friends on their birthdays. And so example, this coming month in January, I have 2 birthdays, so $50 each. Another thing that I've got here, as you can see, is baby E. That's my daughter. She is nearly 4. I'm going to start putting money towards, I'm going to start saving money towards her expenses, like her birthday, Christmas money, school stuff especially coming up, and really just savings in general. I do want to open up like a trust for her eventually and start putting separate money away from when she's much older, but this is more just spending that you don't think you're going to do with a kid, but you end up doing, and you end up like having to dip out of other places, like other savings. So this is like a dedicated, you know, spot just for her stuff. And emergency funds is something I also want to really bulk up. Same with all my other funds and things like that over the year. Yeah, and then again, subscriptions, setting aside money for those as well, whether it's yearly or monthly subscriptions. Moving on to my student loans. I know I had a big like thing that I was going to do, and I was going to pay my student loan, but honestly, based on where, I mean, I don't know what the inflation rate will be for this year. We won't know that until April. The 20% that was coming in came effect into my account, and I now owe just a little over 10 grand, where it was sitting at like 13,000. So 3 grand off, I'll take that. So a small part of me is like, oh, I just want to just cut everything and just go full speed ahead, but I don't think that's, especially where I'm at financially and on Centrally, I don't think that's a very smart choice. I know technically I could pay it off in a year, but again, that would be cutting off all types of savings and spending and just being super frugal because of how much I get. Depending on if I get a job, that's obviously going to change that, because that will come out of, you know, I think there's like a certain percent that will come out of my paycheck to go into my student loans. Depends on how much I earn. If I'm over the threshold, then it will, but if I'm not, it won't. I think that's probably the only time. If I get a little extra, like for example the family tax benefit yearly thing that we usually get, if I get any money back from that, I might put a chunk on that. We'll just see. I'm definitely not as focused this year. I do have other things that I definitely need to focus on a lot more, which is savings. I definitely think working on, this is in therapy, but definitely in working on my psychology and my relationship with money, how I spend it, especially with, you know, shopping and like buying games and buying a lot of takeaway. Like those are definitely things that I want to work on, and if I do focus on my student loans, I'm not really going to be able to work on that. Not fully, not to the extent that I feel is needed in order to have a better relationship with money in the end. And then there's subscriptions. So the end of December, my plan was to just not have any subscriptions at all, but honestly, with the way everything is these days, it's stupid, but there has to be some subscriptions somewhere. I mean, you don't, I guess, like, depends on where you are in your life and what you use. You don't have to. Like, there are people out there that don't have any subscriptions at all. My hat is off to you, but could not be me. So YouTube Premium is definitely one. I've now switched. We were on a family one, but that just got too much financially for all of us, so I've just gone, you know what, I'm going to switch to single, like an individual account. So that's what I've done. The extra $6, because usually it's like $17, the extra $6 is for Aphrodite. I really love his content, and I am a member now. I've kind of gone on and off memberships, to be honest, so that'll probably chop and change. Disney Plus is also another recent monthly. Again, these might change throughout the year. Like, I might pause them or reactivate them or whatever. But this is kind of where we're at, beginning of 2026. Oh, and just so I know, the reason why there is a Centrelink Pay is because I have checked throughout our calendar for the whole year, and I believe we have 2 months of the year where we get 3 paychecks. One's in April. I know that because that's my birth month. I literally get the extra 2 or the extra 1 payment right in the middle of, like, right in between my birthday. So payment, my birthday, payment. So that's nice. And then I think another one's in August or October. So that's why that's there. That's just for future months going ahead. So my financial goals this year are definitely bulking up savings, working on my relationship with money and the psychology behind it when it comes to spending, and either curbing that or, you know, actually implementing what I try and preach, which is, you know, automation and only taking out what's in that savings account. Just being more strategic on where my money is going and what I'm actually spending. Maybe paying off a little bit of debt here and there. My student loans. That's the only thing that I have now, is just my student loans. That's it. I don't have any consumer debt whatsoever. I definitely want to curb not using Afterpay at all this year. I think that's a really big goal of mine, is to not actually just close down my Afterpay account altogether. even though I do have a thing on there now where I don't have to pay the first payment for the first 2 weeks, but that's beside the point. That's also a very big incentive as to why I keep using Afterpay, because I'm like, oh, I don't have to pay for the first, I don't have to, there's no due today type of thing. There are people out there that do use it for good things, like they have to use it for grocery shopping and things like that. Like it's the only way that they can get food on the table, basically, and I completely understand it, but that's not the case for us. I've definitely used Afterpay for personal gain, in a sense, as most shopping like that is, and I definitely want to work on that with not just the temptation of it and the instant gratification and all that, but the psychology behind it and the emotion behind it, because I think that's where a lot of it comes from. Is I am an emotional spender. I was gonna say it is what it is, but it's not healthy, and that's something that I want to change. So that is a goal, is to not use Afterpay at all for this year. Low spending, and if I do spend, I would like to try and spend more at I'd like to really try and spend more at thrift shops and actually go to new thrift shops this year, because I do love thrift shopping, or op shopping as we call it here. I do really enjoy thrift shopping or op shopping, so that's definitely something I want to do more, and I've got a very close friend of mine that's our thing. We go op shopping together, so definitely want to do that more. But yeah, definitely working on savings a lot more, and actually really having a good sit down and think of, like, do I actually need this item? Will it be beneficial in my life? And I do have some mantras that I've kind of looked up and I really feel very connected to. So yeah, that is definitely my overall idea, I guess. It's not set in stone. Like, there will life will life as it usually does. But I hope that when it does happen, because it's not a matter of if, it's when, that when life does hit me hard, that I am financially ready for that. Because I have savings ready to go and I'm set, but it will take a bit to build that up, unfortunately, just because I am on a low income. But hopefully that will change. Touch wood, that will change, because I will hopefully be able to get work. Fingers crossed. But yeah, that is my plan for 2026. Let me know down below what your financial goals are for 2026. Hope you all had a very safe new year and holidays, and I hope you all have a great start to 2026. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!